Well, there you have it. Transfer deadline day has passed us, and Villa did make 2 loan signings. It kind of reminds us a little bit of January, right, when we signed Rashford and Dizazi and Asensio in an attempt to save our season on loan. And already 3 games into this season, it feels like we're doing it to save our season again. However, the difference being, it's not an option to buy like it was on Rashford. It is an obligation to buy in the loan deal of Harvey Elliott specifically. So we're going to be looking at both of these lads today, how they done last season, watching some highlights, talking about the deals that have been presented on the table, the ones that they have signed for Aston Villa. We've already touched on the fact that Harvey Elliott does have that obligation, and it is based on appearances, but if he doesn't make that amount of appearances, I would be really, really surprised. So if you are enjoying the content, leave a like, subscribe down below, all that good stuff. We're on the route to 4,000 Villa Legends on the channel. And as well, the FPL, it is an international break, so it's your chance. There's 39 Legends in the FPL at the moment. Code is on the screen. Can we get that up to 40 by the time the Premier League returns? But let's have a look first at Jadon Sancho. How did he do last season? And have we signed a lion in lieu? And here we have it. Jadon Sancho primarily plays on the left hand side of that front 3, can also play over on the right as well. Still only 25 years of age. He's been around for so long because he went over to Dortmund when he was so young from City. I think you almost forget that he is quite young, to be fair. Last season in the Premier League, obviously it didn't quite work out for him. He was on loan to Chelsea from Manchester United. He made 31 appearances in the Premier League, 19 of those being starts, and did manage, to be fair, to get 7 goal involvements, coming in the way of 4 assists and 3 goals. An average match rating there of 6.96. If we go down, have a look at some of his stats, you'll see some things do stand out to me in particular. Obviously the 3 goals, but he did outperform his XG by about 1, so 2.17 up to 3. His XG on target as well was good. 4 assists, outperforming that expected assists as well by about 1, but did complete 85.2% of his passes, which is really, really good and really, really positive for someone playing in those forward roles, especially out on the wing. Long ball accuracy of 66 as well, and created 38 chances for his teammates in limited game time is pretty good. And then you get onto the dribbles as well. 45 successful dribbles put him in the top 20th percentile in the league last season. That dribble success 52.9%. For comparison, Leon Bailey last season was floating at around, I think, 17% or 15%. So just goes to show, on the ball, he's still very, very talented, super talented. 1-2 penalties as well. And actually decent stats in terms of the percentages and recoveries. And even winning possession in the final third. So defensively willing to muck in as well. So how would a certain Harvey Elliott compare? Well, instantly you're going to see the 1 minute that he's played in the Premier League this season. Obviously, we are not interested in that. Came through in the Fulham Academy, made his name on loan for Blackburn. But let's have a look how he done last season. Now, game time was limited due to injury for him last season. But in the limited game time he did get, and we are going to go over the per 90 stats as well coming up very shortly. He is a 2-time Premier League winner as well, which just sounds good. But the 1 goal did slightly underperform his XG, something that I'd like to hash out, shall we say. But did still manage to get 2 assists, vastly outperforming his expected assists there. Completed 85% of his tackles, which, if we go back to Sancho, is about the same, right? 85 and 85. His position here is down as a centre mid. That's why the sort of percentile has changed slightly. Obviously can play out on the right hand side as well. Did complete 75% of his long balls though, which puts him up in the upper echelons of 93.6 percentile, and 25% of his crosses, which is a godsend. Anything close to 30 I'm happy with, because Villa just can't cross balls at the moment, unfortunately. Dribble success around 50%, so similar to Sancho as well, and then won a decent amount of his tackles as well. And we can look for his per 90 stats. Like I say, with Harvey Elliott, it's a difficult one because he was limited for game time really in that season. Now, I want to see the season that he broke through for Blackburn. Was it all the way back in 2020? It was This season, I mean, look at these stats again. It is a long time ago. He was really young, but this is his breakthrough season. 7 goals, outperforming his XG by half, so doubling it. 11 assists, 78% pass, 19 cross, 55. But in the upper end, I mean, 68 chances created that season, 36 successful dribbles as well, and a decent amount of recoveries and winning the ball back in the final third. So both really, really good players. Both have individual things to be excited about, but how do they fit in to this Villa team is probably my only concern, right? How do we fit them all in? Because we're paying a lot of money, especially for the wages for Sancho, and Harvey Elliott has the obligation to buy. Well, let's look how they both compared against Europe's top 5 leagues over the last year and see if they are tactically and statistically going to change this Villa luck that we've had this season, because it's just been awful. And kicking it off with Jadon Sancho, as you can see, when it comes to ball retention and passing and dribbling and possessional-based statistics, Sancho is an absolute demon. So we look at the attacking statistics first, right? We'll start with those. Ultimately, he is a winger, so you want him to be getting goals and assists for your club. Now, the non-penalty goals per 90, his shots and non-penalty XG, all very, very disappointing. 2 of those stats being in the bottom 10th percentile is never ideal. But assists gets a little bit better. 59th percentile there for those, so nearly breaking into the top 40. Expected assists as well, 50th. Non-penalty XG and expected assisted goals, obviously due to the very, very poor performance in terms of goals and actual scoring goals, putting the ball in the back of the net. That is down in the low percentages as well. And shot creating actions, 3.5 per 90 in the bottom half. So he needs to work on those. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind he needs to work on those. But then we get into the possessional-based statistics, and his passes completed in the top 65th percentile. His pass completion itself so close to breaking in to that top 10th percentile there, 88th percentile for pass completion, so only 12% better than him. His progressive passes nearly in the top 30th. His progressive carries, so how does he actually get, he gets the ball, how many times will he just drive it up the pitch? Well, again, only 12% of players do it better than him. Only 16% of players have more successful take-ons and touches in the attacking penalty area than Sancho last year. And his progressive passes received, being available for those line-breaking passes that perhaps the likes of a Yuri Tielemans may be playing. You have to think about the personnel that you have around Sancho as well. Yuri Tielemans, there might be no one better at those line-breaking passes. Pau Torres, when he's on his day, is very, very good at those line-breaking passes. Boubacar Kamara has an absolutely fascinating passing range when he gets it right as well. And then defensively, not too fantastic at all. But how would Harvey Elliott compare against Sancho? Well, if I click back on the screen and switch it over for you on my screen, I mean, you'll see this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like I said, has struggled with injuries over the last 365 days, but has come back strong towards the back end of last season and then played a really important part, I think being the player of the tournament, or the top scorer or something, in the England under-21 Euros, which they won this summer. But per 90, his non-penalty goals for his position, only 1% better than him. His non-penalty XG, only 8% better than him. His shots and assists, both really up there in the high percentiles. His non-penalty expected goals plus expected assisted goals, again, 12%. It's almost like an Illuminati type thing, isn't it? I promise you that this number isn't reoccurring for a reason. It's just happened, but only 12% of players in Europe's top 5 leagues better than him. 4.54, a whole extra shot creating action per game than Jadon Sancho, puts him in the top 20th percentile. His passes completed per 90, again, only 1% better than him. His progressive passes per 90, only 1% better than him. His pass completion in the top 77th as well. His blocks and interceptions really, really high, not afraid to get stuck in. Now, one thing he does probably need to work on is progressive carries and take-ons, very, very low. But there's a sea of green that's very, very compelling. But how do they look? We've seen the statistics. How do they look when you're watching them eye to highlight video? And here we have it. Jadon Sancho up first with one of his goals for Chelsea last season against Tottenham. Here he is out on the wing, cuts inside, brilliant finish with his right foot into that top corner. Obviously, Sancho primarily does play out on the left with that ability to cut in. Here he is nicking the ball back against Newcastle, picking the ball up in a slightly more central position, and we've seen it with the statistics, right? Sancho will happily glide past players like they're not even... I mean, look at that. That is outrageous, by the way, that little bit of skill there. Picking up the ball here, again, out on that left, flicks it over. I think that's Josh Murphy, like he's not even there. Picking the ball up on the edge of the box, and Sancho doing what he does best. Now this, for me, again, this is why I like the highlight videos. It solidifies for me, and shout out to SVMM for the video link in the description, where we should play these players. Here's Sancho picking the ball up on the right. Again, it's a good finish, right? Near post, a little bit of luck with the deflection. But he just looks so much more natural out on that left-hand side. Here he is again on the left, picking up the ball again on the left against Curtis Jones here. And he's just kind of having fun and taking the mickey, isn't he, here? I mean, he's got that defender panicking for his life. Cole Palmer winning the ball back here, and Sancho picking it up again on the left-hand side, and a lovely flick through to Cole Palmer. When we get into the tactics board and we look at perhaps where these players should play, things like this really solidify for me. I mean, that cutting in on the right-hand foot, again, lovely assist for Noni Madueke there. It just looks so good. Again, here's for Mudryk, but I just think he looks so much more natural on that left-hand side. That's a brilliant ball through to Cole Palmer. Here he is on the right-hand side, and again, you know, it's not bad. It's a good ball in, and he's got the assist in the end of the day. But I just think, oh, that's a lovely nutmeg. I think on the left, as we see here, that blistering pace to manage to get past the man and put a lovely ball in. The cutting in on the right foot is absolutely glorious. Here he is on the left-hand side again. Lovely bit of defensive link-up play. I just think it works a lot better for Jadon Sancho being on the left-hand side, and that is where ultimately I'm playing for Villa. I mean, that is outrageous. I know they were in the Conference League and he was probably just having a bit of fun there, but it's ridiculous. And this time we're shouting out to DD Comps for the Harvey Elliott compilation there, as there's a lovely little flick round the corner that has led through. So Harvey Elliott, here he is on the ball in midfield in a central position, which is where he does get a lot of his game time for Liverpool. I mean, that's an outrageous assist, by the way. And it begs the question, will Harvey Elliott play on the inside, the outside, for Aston Villa? Well, let's have a look at these highlights and see where he operates to his best ability. And here he is coming off of the right-hand side again, somewhere we have seen a lovely left-footed finish there into the bottom corner. And that is against Gigi Donnarumma, a goalkeeper that we know very, very well from last season when he almost, well, he did end our Champions League hopes. There is a lovely finish with his right foot. He's very two-footed, by the way, Harvey Elliott. Left foot, right foot, it don't matter. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, good night, right, left type deal. But he does, you know, again, a lot of the clips that we'll see, he's picking up multiple positions there. He was almost playing up front or on the left-hand side of an attack. But he does also play in the middle quite a lot. But again, he does play on the left-hand side, in the middle, on the left-hand side, on the right as well. That probably should have been an assist there. But it is Darwin Núñez he is putting the ball into, so you have to cut him some slack to an extent. But, I mean, look at that. Winning the ball there in a 50-50 duel. Lovely. Keeping possession. Picking the ball up on the right-hand side here. And dribbling his man. Very, very nice before popping the ball off to a teammate. Picking the ball up. Nice little back heel out wide. And picking up that central position there. On the right-hand side here. Beautiful ball over the top. And it's really hard to distinguish where Harvey Elliott's best position and best used position will be. That's an outrageous ball. Should have definitely got the assist there. He was onside as well, but just couldn't quite squeeze it in from the tight angle. On the right-hand side now, how does he look on the right-hand side? I mean, that's an outrageous ball, but it's Darwin Núñez. So that's two clips now. Here, though, picking the ball up in the middle, spraying it out to Mo Salah. Lovely stuff, picking the ball up in the middle again. Nice little chipped ball through out wide there. I don't know who that is out wide, to be fair, but in the middle again. We saw his long passing percentage was absolutely outrageous, but I genuinely don't know where he's best. Lovely tackle. And with everything I've seen, I feel like the best lineup could be a little something like this. Sancho picking up that position as he has his whole career out on the left-hand side. I've put Harvey Elliott in the middle. Rodgers and Watkins in the middle just has not been working at all this season. So I think Rodgers needs to find his flow. And if he does, then I'd happily have Rodgers in the middle, Elliott out on the right-hand side. But I think Rodgers could work out on the right-hand side as well. Now, We're going to ignore this part of the team for a bit because I think defensively, even with the signing of Lindelof, we're still pretty short at the back, right? But up front now, I mean, you know, you could literally change this. Apart from Watkins, we don't have a backup striker. You can change Sancho for Guasson. You could easily put Rodgers in there. You could then change and put Daniel Marlon out on the right. And you could do something like that. You could even have Tielemans up there and Onana back there. We don't have that backup for Watkins yet. That's the only issue. But all of a sudden, our attacking options look very nice. So ultimately, what do I think? Well, the Harvey Elliott deal I think is brilliant. We've gone from Paqueta and landed upwards because Harvey Elliott is a young 22-year-old who's absolutely brilliant. He has had injury issues, which is the only concern, but he's passed the medical. So, you know, coming along leaps and bounds in his career at the moment, 22, and the obligation is just 35 million. There's a buyback clause, but I'm not too worried about that just yet. The obligation is triggered once he plays 10 games for Villa, which he is going to do. So I'm happy that we are going to get Harvey Elliott for 35 million in the summer. Very, very good deal. Sancho, obviously paying 80% of his wages, which is quite high, is a bit of a risk. But then again, if he can play anywhere near the levels that he was for Dortmund in his first spell, Europa League, cakewalk. What do you think? Comment below.